Thank you, Mr. Levin. Senator Tillis, you're recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Ranking Member Rowe, and for my colleagues. We all come here. I look forward to these meetings every year to hear from you all. I want to thank you for your service, and I want to talk a little bit about what more we can do. General Lennington, you said isolation is the killer, and I agree. When we're talking about veteran suicide, we've got to figure out more ways to cast a wider net. I think one of the ways that we do that is look at a simple, I think it's a simple policy change where instead of someone transitioning having to opt into services, that they have to opt out. Assume that they need the benefits, assume they need the connectivity. Just think about how many more we'd be able to touch just by doing something as straightforward as that. I also think that the department's made a lot of headway by presuming that they're entitled to mental health benefits regardless of the status of their discharge. I mean, if you go back and take a look at the number of people who are sadly taking their lives, they're not connected in any way to the VA, they're not connected to the community, and I want to thank you all for making that connection, but we've got to cast a wider net. I also want to talk about the electronic health record. That's something that my office has taken a particular interest in. You all may know that Secretary Wilkie was my MLA for 3 years before we went over to the Department of Veterans Affairs. I've got a lot of confidence in Secretary Wilkie's, with his leadership and being successful with the execution of the electronic health record, but we've got to look far beyond just the baseline Cerner platform if we're going to do what we want to do for the veterans. We've got to make sure that no matter where that veteran goes for health care, whether it's in a brick and mortar VA facility, a non-VA provider, a choice provider, that I want every aspect of that veteran's health record to be available anytime they're receiving care. And thanks to Senator Isaacson and now Senator Moran, I meet with the department along with Ranking Member Tester about every 6 or 8 weeks to keep track of that electronic health record. Very interested in you all's input in that. The baseline system is one thing, but it's that other technology that's going to be implemented that I think is going to be the game changer. And then finally, in 3 minutes, we can't get to many questions, but I do want to tell you all that my office is wide open to sit down and meet with any of you on your suggestions, your experience after we get the implementation up in the Northwest Vision, and then we implement it across the country. But I'm also interested in your input in my capacity as the chair of the Personnel Subcommittee on Senate Armed Services. I think we got to get smarter with TAP. We've got to get to a point where we basically have a TAP audience of one. We're looking at the unique needs and the history of that man or woman who's about to transition out of active or reserve status into veteran status, and we need to tailor things that are specific to that man or woman's need. And I think when we do that, we will reduce the isolation, we'll save a lot of lives, and we'll do right by the veterans that we owe a debt of gratitude. So thank you all for being here, and make sure you know that anytime you want a meeting in my office, consider it done. It's just a matter of when you want to be there. Thank you all. God bless you, and thank you for your service.